Hey class, this is Mr. Lee. Again, it's September 2nd. I'm pretty sure recording is on right now, okay? So it says recording's in process. I'm trying a different live audience with my tutoring people right now. So tutoring people, say hi to YouTube. Hi. Again, that was my tutoring class. Here we go. Today's homework is study guide. And we're going to do cross multiplication. Problem number 1 is 48 is what percent of 52? We have this right now. I want you guys to write part over whole equals percent over 100. What I'm going to do now is this. I know that my problem, 48 is what percent of 52? I know the 52 has to go downstairs because that's 52 wholes. And I know 48 is part of 52. So he goes upstairs. Next, because there's no number with a percent, he has to go blank. And the 100 is downstairs. So now I crisscross and multiply. 48 times 100 is 48 times 100. And 52 times blank. I don't like wasting my time writing a whole bunch of times tables, so I count how many zeros I have here. How many zeros do I have? You can say it out loud if you want to. 40. I have how many zeros? 2. I got 2 zeros, so I write 2 zeros right here. Now, what numbers are my regular numbers? 48 and 1. So 48 times 1 gets me 48. So I rewrite the 4800 right here. Right now, I rewrite the 52 times the blank. What number is next to the blank? Well, it's the 52. So over here, I write my division house. And I put 4800 and the 52 right here. So 52 goes into 4800. I don't know how big that is. So I'm going to write on the side 52 times, I'm going to try to guess maybe 8 times, because I know 5 times 8 is 40. Okay? So let's times this out together. 8 times 2? 16. Good. I carry out the 1. 5 times 8? 40. Plus 1? 41. Alright. Maybe I can go up even one more. So let's try 52 times the 9. 9 times 2? 18. Thank you, tutor guys. So 5 times 9? 45. Plus 1? 46. Now look, 468 is way closer to 480 than 416. I'm going to put the number 9 right there. I'm going to put the number 9 on top. And we know the number 9 times 52 is 468. Okay? Now I subtract. 0 can't go into 8, so I have to borrow. So right now I have 10 minus 8, which is 2. 7 minus 6 is what? 7 minus 6 gets me 1. And I bring down the 0. Now, 52 goes into 120. I'm going to have to say probably 2 times. Because I know 2 times 5 is 10. So 2 times 2 gets me 4. 2 times 5 is 10. Now I have to borrow. 10 minus 4 is 6, and I have the 1 right here. I don't like remainders, so I put the decimal dot right here. Because I have a decimal dot right here, what gets sucked down? 0. A 0. So 52 goes into 160. I have to say 3 times, because 3 times 2 is a 6, and 3 times 5 is 15. I subtract, and that gets me 4. I'm going to stop right here. What's going to go into my blanks? 92.3. So 92.3. 92.3. 92.3. And what's the answer to number 1? 92.3. Someone's going to ask me, why the heck do I have all this number on the left-hand side? And let me see if I can Can I stretch this out? Oh, heck yeah. No. No, hovercam, you cannot let me, no. Hovercam, you can't let me stretch it out. That's okay. The screen is going to be a little bit small. Can I have one of my tutor people turn off one light in the classroom? I'm sorry about this YouTube audience. This is the very first thing, a live audience for it. Oh my gosh, it's perfect now. I can see better. Here we go. So the answer is 92.3. We're going to go on to number 2 right here. Number 2 is 200. 295 is what percent of 400? So we're going to write down number 2 right here. And we know we have 2 fractions. What goes on the bottom right-hand side? What goes on the bottom right-hand side? The bottom right-hand side. I'm not even looking at my problem. What goes on always on the bottom right-hand side? 100. Make sure 100 always goes down on the bottom right-hand side. Now we're going to try to figure out our is and our ofs. What's my whole number? Is it 295 or 400? 400 is my whole number. Because 400 is my whole number, what has to go downstairs? The 400 goes downstairs. Now remember, whatever word has of, that goes downstairs. And it was 400 of. Okay? And the word is our part. So what part of 400 did we get? We got 295. We're looking at problem 2, and it's on the right-hand side. Look, we're on the right-hand side. Not on the bottom, we're on the right-hand side. So now we're going to cross multiply. And this is an ugly number right here. A very ugly number. How many zeros do we have? We have 2. Now what's 1? What's 1 times 295? 295, that's easy. And what's this 400 being multiplied by? By a blank. Do you understand where I got 400 times the blank? It's this cross diagonal right here. And then 295 times the 100. Alright, now what goes outside my division house? No, it's the blank. So the 400 goes outside. The 295 goes inside. 400 goes into 295. I want to say 8 times. Because 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 4. No, it's not 8. It has to be the 7. I apologize. 7 goes in the times 4. That gets me 28. This right here, that's a 28. Make sure you get that down. Now I'm going to subtract. This is a 0. This is a 5. 9 minus 8, that gets me 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. So I have this right here. 400 goes into 1500. I have to say 3 times, because 3 times 4 is 12. What are the leftovers? 0 and 0. So I subtract. I get 300 right here. I don't want a remainder, so what do I have to put right here? A decimal. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see better. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Does that look better? Is that bigger? Yeah. Alright, that's a little bit bigger. So, we add another 0 right here. 4 times what will get me close to 30? I have to say that's the 7 right here. 7 times 0 gets me a 0. 7 times 0 gets me another 0. What's 7 times 4, audience? What's 7 times 4, guys? 7 times 4. That's going to get me 28. It's going to get me a 28. You were close. Watch out for that 2 part. So we're going to subtract. We have a 0 here, a 0 here. This is a 2. 10 minus 8 is 2. I bring down one last 0. Let's look at this last 2 number right here. 4 times what will get me close to 20? What? That's 20. 4 times what will get me close to 20? 4 times 5. So I'll put the 5 right here. 5 times 4 gets me 20. 5 times 0 gets me 0. I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see. Okay? So what's going to go into my blank? 73.75. 73.75. Alright, I'm going to need my tutor audience right now to try to do number 3 on my own. And I'm going to ask my YouTube audience to do the same. The YouTube people can cheat because you guys can hear this and by pausing and then fast forwarding. My tutoring people will have to kind of ignore me and try to set up number 3. Again, we're just finished number 2, and the answer for number 2 is 73.75. I want you guys to do number 3. What percent of 22 is 56? So you guys are going to pause number 3 right now, and when you unpause, you'll get the answer. My tutoring kids will just have to bear with Mr. Lee yelling at the camera by himself. Welcome back, YouTube people. We're going to go on to number 3. Number 3 reads this. What percent of 22 is 56? Remember, we want to set up a ratio. And we're doing a percent proportion. That means we're going to compare two fractions. On the right hand side we have 100. Remember, our clue is our whole has the word of, and it's always on the bottom. Our part is always on top, and it's described by the word is. So when I look at number 3, what part of 22 is 56? What part of 22 is 56? People will say, Mister, the big number has to go on bottom. Not all the time. The 22 goes downstairs. The 56 has to go where? Upstairs. Now we have to crisscross and multiply. What I'm going to do now is this. It's 56 times 100 and 22 times the blank. So now we have 56 times 100. How many zeros are in 100? If you said 2 zeros, you're right. Now, let's do the freebie. What's 1 times 56? That gets me 56. Now, over here, we have a division house. What goes outside of my division house? The blank. So I put the 22 right here. And the 5600 goes outside. Okay, I don't know my 22 times tables, and I'm going to zoom in real fast. Zoom in. I know 22 times 2 is 44. 22 times 3 is 66. I want to get close to 56. So I put a 2 up here, because that's going to get me 44. 56 minus 44, that's going to get me 12. And I've dragged down the 0. Hey guys, I saw this mistake during homework time. Do not put a decimal dot unless you have a remainder. Do I have a remainder yet? No, not yet. I still have a bunch of zeros. You see these zeros? I still have to drag them. So 22 goes in 120. I'm going to say it goes in there 5 times. Because 5 times 2 is 10. I carry the 1. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 1 is 11. Now I have 2 minus 1 is 1. 0 minus 0 is 0. And I drag down the last 0. 22 goes into 100 4 times. Because 4 times 22, that gets me the 88. I subtract, and that's going to get me 12. Now I have a remainder. This is where I want my decimal dot. So I put the decimal dot right here. What gets dragged down? A 0. So this tells me then I have to put in a 5. This is where it's going to start to repeat, because 5 times 22 we know is 110. And this gets me 10 and 0. So the answer that goes upstairs is 254.54 repeating. Where do I put this again? This is the answer for number 3. It goes into my blank. So 254.54 it goes into my blanks. So the answer to number 3, is 254.54. Okay guys, this is a homework helper. I just did example 1, which is like problem A right here. I did problem 2, which is like example 4, which is this one right here. I'm going to zoom out real fast for my YouTube audience. The answer for number 3 is 254.54. And it's just like example 2, which is this right here. This is example 2, this is example 1, this is example 3, and this is example 4. You have these in your notes. I haven't gone over yet example 3. So my next freebie answer is going to be number 5. This is going to be an answer for number 5. An answer for number 5 is this. What is 99% of 840? 99% of 840. So I know in the bottom right hand side I have the 100 right here. But where does the 99% go? If you said it goes on top of the 100, you got right. Now, here's the trick. Of 840, where does the 840 go? It has to go downstairs. Now we cross multiply. It's going to be 840 times 99, and 100 times what? 100 times a blank. Now right here, I'm going to write this as 840 times 99. 9 times 0 is 0. 9 times 4 is 36. I carry the 3. 9 times 8, that gets me 72. Plus 3, that gets me 75. Look, I have a second 9 right here. That means I have to skip one spot right here, put a 0, and then I go 9 times 0 is 0. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 8 is 72. Plus 3 is 75. I did that faster because it repeats. I add 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 0 is 6. 5 plus 6 is 11. 1 plus 7 is 8. Plus 5 is 13. I carry the 1. And that gets me 8. This is a really big, ugly number. So right now we have 8, 3, 1, 6, 0 equals 100 times a blank. And this is number 5. What do we have to do now? That's not the answer. So what do we do now? After we multiply, we divide. We have to divide. What goes inside my division house? It's the 83160. What goes outside? That's the 100. Why the 100? Because there's a blank right here. So 100 goes in 831 8 times. 8 times 100, that gets me the 800. I subtract 831 minus 800, that's 3, 1. I drop down what? Not decimal or 0, I drop down the 6. 100 goes into 316. I have to say that goes in there 3 times. Because 3 times 100 gets me 300. I subtract 316 minus 300. That gets me 16 right here. I put the 0. 160 goes 100 into 160. That is the 1 time. So 1 times 100 That gets me 100. I subtract. This is 60. And let me zoom out so you can see. I have a remainder. What do I do now? I heard someone whisper decimal, and that voice is right. I put a decimal. Now, let's put a 0 right here. 100 goes into 600 how many times? I hear my voice that's whispering pointing to me and tell me it's a 6. So 6 times 100 is 600. So what goes into my blank? 831.6. 831.6 is 99% of 840. This is the answer to number 5. You can pause it right here and you have a freebie. It is 831.6. For the YouTube people right now, if you want to pause it, you can look at these clues. The next problem, problem 4, it's like example 2. Example number 3 is like, number 6 is like example 3. Number 8 is like example 4. Number 10 is like example 4. Problem 9 is like example 4. Problem 7 is like example 3. Anyway, YouTube people, I hope this homework helper helped you guys out, and I will see you in class for the homework check. Take care.